String set 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Root, first inversion, second inversion, root, second inversion, first inversion, root. String set 2. First inversion, second inversion, root, first inversion, root, second inversion, first inversion. String set 3. Second inversion, root. This tutorial is going to discuss major triads in detail. Major triads are important for guitar players because they're one of the fundamental building blocks of music theory that if we want to get into any depth on the guitar, we're going to have to understand sooner or later. And it's also a great way for us to practice finger dexterity and really getting to know the neck of the guitar. So let's talk about what a triad is. Every major chord is made up of a root, a third, and a perfect fifth. So, for example, if we look at an A chord, every note that makes up this A chord is either an A or the root. So that's an A, that's an A note, so that's the root of an A chord. Then we're going to have a major third. So this C sharp right here is a major third in relationship to the A. So that's the major third, and then a perfect fifth would be an E note. So we have an E note here, and we have an E note in this open high E string. And that's why that's an A chord, because we have a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth represented. When we talk about a triad specifically is a chord that has a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth, but they're all represented exactly one time. So for example, this is an A triad, and it's an A triad because we have a root, an A note, we have the major third, which is the C sharp, and we have the E note, which is the perfect fifth, and we're playing each of those notes exactly one time. Now, we can play this triad with the root and the bass, the A. We could also play it with one of the other notes, the major third or the perfect fifth in the bass. And as long as these three notes are represented exactly one time, it's still going to be an A triad, but we'll call it something different. So this is an A triad with the root and the bass because we've got the A and the bass here. However, if we started the triad on a C sharp or the major third, let's find the lowest C sharp we can on this low E string, which would be the 9th fret of the low E string. And then let's find perfect fifth, which is an E note, that'd be right here, and the root, which is an A note, would be right here. So we could play this A triad like this. It's still an A triad because we have an A, we have an E, and we have a C sharp. Those three notes make up an A triad. But since the C sharp is in the bass, anytime we have the major third in the bass like we do right now, we're going to call that a first inversion. So we have an A triad with a root in the bass, a root A triad, and then we've also just learned an A triad first inversion, because anytime we have that third in the bass, we're going to call that a first inversion A triad. Now, so we've played it with the A in the bass, we've played it with the third in the bass. We can also play it with the fifth in the bass. So the fifth in an A triad is an E note, because we had A, we had C sharp, and we had E. So let's find an E note, which is the 12th fret of this low E string. And then we can find an A note right here, the 12th fret of A. And then we can find a C sharp on the 11th fret of D. So we have E, A, C sharp. Those are the three notes that make. All right, string set 2 is the A, D, and G string. So let's stay with this A triad theme here, and let's find an A triad with a root in the bass, or a root A triad. And we can play this, because this is an A note, the 12th fret of the A string. Then this is a C sharp note, and this is an E note. And you'll notice this is the same shape as what we played before. It's just moved up here to the 12th fret of the A string. And then if we wanted to try and find a first inversion A triad on this string set, we would need to start with a C sharp. So here's a C sharp, 4th fret of A, and then we would need to find an E, that's an E note, and an A, which is right there on the 2nd fret of the G string. All right, string set 3 is going to be the D string, G string, and the B string. So if we want to try and find an A triad with a root in the bass, we're going to need an A note, which is right here, the 7th fret of the D string. That's an A note. Then we need a C sharp. So that's a C sharp. Then we need an E note, and that's an E on the 5th fret of the B string. So that's a root A triad. If we wanted to find a first inversion, we would need to find a C sharp note. The first C sharp note that we can find on this D string is going to be all the way up here on the 11th fret of D. That's a C sharp note. The next note we need is an E note for the 5th of the chord. We can find an E note right there. Then we would need an A note, which is right there. So we have this shape. This is our first inversion, A triad, on this string set. And then if we wanted to find the second inversion, we would need a 5th in the bass. So we would need the E to be in the bass. And for that, we could go up here. This is an E note on the 14th fret of D. Then we have, all right, string set 4 is this G string, this B string, and this high E string. We're going to continue finding A triads. So we need to find A notes, C sharp notes, which is the major third, and E notes, which is the 5th in an A triad. So let's start by finding the A root triad. So we need to find an A note. This is an A note right here, the 2nd fret of the G string. And then if we go over here, we have the 3rd, that's a C sharp, so that's the 3rd in an A chord. And then the open E string can be our E, which is the 5th. So here is an A triad with a root in the bass. The next one we need to find would be a first inversion. So we need to start on a C sharp note. Well, here's a C sharp note. It's the 6th fret of the G string. And then we need to find the 5th, which is an E. And there's an E. And then the root, which is an A. That's an A note. So there's our first string set 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Root. First inversion. Second inversion. Root. Second inversion. First inversion. Root. String set 2. First inversion. Second inversion. Root. First inversion. Root. Second inversion. First inversion. String set 3. Second inversion. Root. First inversion. Second inversion. First inversion. Root. Second inversion. String set 4.